Welcome to the TFL Talk episode 2. Jared, I'm glad to be here.
Yep, me too. Good to see you guys. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back, and it's just Jared and I today. We're gonna talk about 4 different things today. A nice 20-minute little segment here. And our first topic of the day, just recently released, was the all-time records for all the teams. Regular season and playoff. And Jared, go ahead and give those to us.
Well, to start things off with, we have the defending TFL champions, the High Steppers, captained by Callan Wood. One of the best regular season records we've ever seen, 8-0, undefeated in the regular season. Playoffs 3-3, so about 500. But one thing that stands out is their championship win, which obviously happened last year. Next, we have the Criminals. Gabe, that's your team. Regular season 3-5, so not the greatest, but you have been on the uprise lately. The past few seasons, we've seen some progress. Playoffs, you're 5-3, so that's pretty solid. And a championship, you do have that as well. The Hurricanes, one of the more storied franchises in the TFL. Regular season is 3-5, so not great, but playoffs 5-2. They are definitely a playoff team. And they have more championships than any other team in the TFL. They have 2 of them. Then you have the Fighting Amish, captained by Braden Hicks. Braden Hicks has led this team to a regular season standing of 4-4, so 500. Surprisingly, playoffs he's only 2-4 in the playoffs, but he's made it to 2 championships. Very interesting. Of course, he didn't play last year due to COVID protocol. So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table this year. And, of course, my team, the Krakens, were 2-0 in the regular season, so 100% win percentage in the regular season, up there with Cal. But we are 0-1 in the playoffs yet to get that first playoff win, and we don't have a championship yet. So that's what it's looking like right now.
Yeah. I mean, when you take a look at those teams, there are guys like Callan and the High Steppers who just take over the regular season. I mean, Callan does not know how to lose in the regular season, which is very impressive. But I would say most of the damage is done in the playoffs. What teams stand out in the playoffs? And obviously, when you look at the playoff records, there's only 2 teams with the winning records in the playoffs, and that's the Hurricanes and that's the Criminals. Hurricanes have played 1 play-in game in their entire playoff career. Yep, happened last year, and that was a big game, I think, for the Hurricanes to be able to get some confidence, beat probably the worst team last year with Bradenless Fighting Amish, and then you have Criminals, my team. We've done well in the playoffs. Obviously we had that historic season where we won 3 straight games in the playoffs, which takes over more than half of my wins in the playoffs right there. But yeah, I mean, when you get that play-in game, you get an extra playoff win, and it's really important for your team.
I just want to say the Hurricanes are a very interesting team to me. I'm very confused as to what they are. Obviously in the beginning years of them, they were one of the best franchises. They kind of remind me of New England Patriots. They had a dynasty going, then they had a little slump, but they're still a respected franchise, and they have a respected captain. But they really turned it on. They were going into the playoffs. No one really thought they were good at all. And then they obviously won the play-in game, which was expected, but no one thought they would even come close to beating Callan Wood's team. And they really took them to it. I mean, they lost, but it was a very, very close game. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year. Also, like I said, Braden Hicks, I'm excited. Has he gone to the championship every year that he's played? Or no? First year he was not the champ. Okay, but I mean, he's been on a streak, 2 in a row. I'm gonna count that as 2 in a row. I'm not counting last season for him, so I'm excited to see what he's gonna do.
Yeah. I mean, we saw Justin Hicks, Braden's brother, take over for Braden's team, and we saw that team go right down the toilet as soon as Justin took over, which I think shows the importance of what Braden brings to his team. A lot of times we talk about who's the best captain, and names come up like Callan, Gabe, Grant, Jared's making a case now with his new team, and we don't talk about Braden a lot, which I think it's not fair to Braden. Braden took his team to the past 2 years that he's played. His team's gone to the championship and put up a fight.
With Israel, too. Israel Schumann was on both of those teams, and at the time Israel was a first-round pick. Later, we found out Israel's more of a second-round talent. So Braden really took a second-round talent with his first pick to the championship. That's impressive.
And I think back in the day, probably the second year of TFL, Israel was a first round talent, but not a first overall pick talent, and that's where he got picked. And I think you have to go off of that. Moving on to our next segment, we are going to talk about who everyone believes is the number 1 overall pick, Timmy Touchdown. All right, Timmy Touchdown stock is slowly risen, arose. Rise. It's risen. Timmy Touchdown stock has really risen, and Callan has come out publicly and told reporters that he will be taking Timmy with the first overall pick. And Timmy and Callan have had talks already. I mean, they're talking game plan, talking what they think, and I think Timmy Touchdown, first year in the league, he's a rookie. He's going to be picked first overall. Jared, what are your thoughts about that?
Personally, I think Timmy going first overall makes sense if it's a team other than Callan. I'm saying that because Callan's a very skilled receiver, and that's what he's going to play this year. Because Timmy, I don't see Timmy as a receiver. I don't think you can put Timmy at receiver. And Cal came out and he has said he's going to draft Timmy. Now, what I don't understand is why, because first of all, Cal has proven to been one of the best quarterbacks, if not the best quarterback in the TFL. He led a championship team last year as QB. With guys like Perk in the draft, I just see more value to Callan drafting a guy like Perk who could play QB if needed to. But he's also going to be one of the best receivers in the league, no doubt, based on what we project. So picking Timmy at 1, Timmy is a great talent, and if there is someone who is playing receiver who had the first pick, I would completely understand the pick. But with Cal, I don't know. I feel like Cal would be better off picking Perk or a receiver. But that's just my opinion. I think Cal is going to be a very good receiver. But then you look at the defensive side of the ball, and Cal's a little slower on that side of the ball too. He can be a good defender, but he gives up a lot of space, and I don't think Timmy's going to be able to guard a lot of people either. So it's going to be an interesting team for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's obvious weaknesses in Timmy's game, and there's obvious strengths in his game too. I mean, I think Timmy has potential. I think right now, which is a hot take, he's the most accurate quarterback in the TFL. All right, never played a snap in the TFL, but I think he's the most accurate quarterback based on what he's done in the past, and I think you have to respect that from Timmy. He's gonna put the ball where it needs to be. It's just then about, can Cal get open? He has first overall pick, which means he's going to get the last guy, and who many are projecting could be Jared Holmes, could be Lucas, could be a lot of different guys. We don't really know. And I mean, you're putting a lot of trust in that second guy to get open, because then if Cal meets a corner that can lock him down, that team's down the drain. Not
to mention, the second guy you draft might have to play corner a little bit. So, I mean, you got to choose wisely. You said Tim is your most skilled player in the draft. Is that what? Quarterback? Best quarterback. I think overall, Perk is what I'm going to go with. I think he's all around the most athletic. Timmy's definitely the best QB in the draft, but I think as for Cal, Perk would have been a better option. But we're still not sure. I mean, draft hasn't happened yet, so we'll see. We'll see for sure.
Yeah. Moving on to our third topic of the day. A video surfaced probably on October 29th. All right. That's about 2 weeks ago. Video surfaced of Lucas Turnwald getting some reps at quarterback in the Turnwald barn. I mean, we're going to go ahead and put that video up for you guys so you can check it out. Yeah, so we'll just start right at the beginning here. Lucas taking the snap, backing out, getting ready to throw. Pocket presence, hits the backboard. And he said, in the tag in it was got rim, #underrated, #slept on. So, I mean, we look at those videos, we see guys, out there training for the TFL, getting ready. We've seen Stats do the exact same thing. And I think, we see a guy like Lucas come out there and say, I'm being slept on. All right, you guys can draft me at quarterback, and you get 2 good receivers. Is that something that, as a captain of a team, you would ponder drafting a guy like that in a later round and getting 2 good receivers, or drafting Lucas? I mean, what are you thinking there?
Well, it's definitely a weird situation because in the past, you've always drafted, if you're a receiver captain, you've always drafted a QB with your first overall pick or first round pick. That's just how it's always been because of the talent in the second round. This year, obviously, we've expanded the competition. So Lucas, who would have been drafted higher, probably is now falling back. So if you're a guy who's thinking about getting another receiver, then yeah, Lucas is definitely someone that you're thinking about because when he did captain the team a few years ago, he was a quarterback, so he's had some experience. By no means do I think Lucas is going to be a Timmy Touchdown or a Callan Wood, or even a Stets, but he can put the ball in an area and he can get a job done. I do believe that, and I think last year with a lot of people, he said he was slept on. And I do agree with that. I think just most of it stems from last year because the team he was on, Israel and Grant, it's a fairly small team. I don't think that team really played to Lucas's strengths. Lucas was kind of going against like the better players on defense. He was playing a little bit of wide receiver one sometimes. So I don't like the place that Lucas. I don't like the position Lucas was put in last year. But yeah, I definitely think that if you draft a high receiver and then you have Lucas as your QB, Lucas just needs to put it in an area because your other guys are going to get open, and I really like that for Lucas.
Moving on to our fourth and final topic, a video also surfaced from last year's TFL during the Hurricanes versus Krakens game, first game of the year. Video surfaces of Brady Collinger making a spectacular catch. We're going to go ahead and take a look at it right now. As you can see, Grant tossed the ball to him behind the back, gives a little wink to John, flips the ball to him. And we got it. I mean, you don't see stuff like that. We go and see it in slow-mo. Slow-mo, Grant's getting ready to throw it, giving it to the ref, and behind the back catch by Brady Collinger, gives a look to John Bars, and just does a little flip to him. Now, Brady Collinger, obviously, one of the the greatest ref of all time in TFL history. I mean, and refs don't get talked about that much, but Brady Collinger cemented his status as the best ref in TFL history, and he's going to try to continue that this year. And Brady making those catches is just going to show his dominance out there. People listen to him when he talks. What are your thoughts on Brady Collinger?
I think Brady Collinger is one of the things that keeps the TFL going. Since day one, he's been one of those guys that's just always constant in the TFL. He's a guy who you respect. Everyone around the league respects him. That's why he's the head ref. Yeah, I mean, you love seeing that from a guy like Brady. I'm excited that he's going to be a ref this year as well. I don't think you can have TFL without Brady Collinger. So I'm excited to have Brady back. I think the whole league is really.
Yeah, Brady Collinger, obviously I spent a lot of time with him, live in the same house as him.
By the way, what do you have to say to the people who kind of say, head ref's your dad? That can raise a lot of speculation. It's something I've actually wondered. So, would you mind talking about that?
That's a great question. I think when you get down to business, you get into a business, a multi-million-dollar league like TFL. You got guys questioning, when you have the same last name as the head ref, and like 2 years ago when I won the championship, people were questioning, well, did his dad rig it? And it was kind of a Deflategate situation there. I mean, we trounced. You were on my team. We trounced the opponent. All right, absolutely destroyed every team, and people were questioning, are they cheating? Are they cheating? No, we weren't cheating whatsoever. Brady has a lot of integrity, and I like to think of myself as a very, very stand-up guy. Has a lot of integrity, and
I think that's one of the reasons why we appreciate Brady so much. Is even though he does have that connection with you, you can't notice it once you're in the game in the TFL situation. It doesn't correlate.
And I've had many arguments with Brady during games, just going back and forth, chirping back and forth because I'm not happy with some of the calls he's making, and Brady is going to call everything fair. And I think we've seen that in the league. Unless we see something that proves otherwise, I think, I would never put the integrity of the commissioner and the head ref at stake to win a championship. I want to win a championship at all costs, but the cost of cheating is just too much, So, and that's going to be it for our show today, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is episode 2 of TFL Talk. We will join you next week for another episode. And TFL Draft is coming up here soon. Jared, you excited?
I cannot wait. It's all I think about.
That's all I think about, too. All right. We'll see you guys next time.